A princess runs away from her evil stepmother to hang out with little dudes.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise.
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 71.
Tonight we're talking about Snow White.
And the Seven Dwarfs.
not just Snow White.
It's a long title.
It's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
And the
I
Seven
think
Dwarfs.
it's
They're very
just Snow White.
they're very important to the
or
story.
just the Seven Dwarfs. I'd be okay with
Because
that.
without her, this movie, or without the dwarves, this movie might be a tad boring.
And without her, it would
Not be a princess movie.
Yeah,
be a little less annoying.
Whoa.
Sorry. I
Shots
take it back.
fired out the gate against Snow White.
Ready to go.
Check yourself, Snow.
But this is a historical movie that we're doing because it was the first Walt Disney animated feature film.
In the year 1938.
So let's appreciate it
Is
for
it
what
8,
it
6?
for
Well,
what it is. It's an OG movie.
It says it was released in the U.S. on February 4th, 1938, but it also says 1937.
I thought it was 1937.
Hang on.
Wikipedia's wrong.
December 21st, 1937, at the Carthay Circle Theater,
Boom.
and then a worldwide or a United States release of February 4th, 1938.
So we're gonna say 1937.
Works for me.
Yes, that's when it first premiered. Had a budget of $1.49 million.
Jeez, for 1938, that's a ton of money.
And we're deep in the Depression at that time, I believe.
Not
What did
personal,
Louis say?
actual
If you
historical.
don't
Yeah.
go bankrupt in the Depression, then I guess you're good.
And you're golden.
He said that you're ready to take over the world at some point later
Yes.
in life. And, you know,
And they succeeded.
that's pretty
They
true.
definitely did that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, this movie sets the precedence for
Mhm.
for
One of those.
everything that we know about Disney animation now.
Yes, it does.
And the parks. And
Yeah. There's a lot
princesses.
of classic animation in this that gets repeated in movies that we've talked about and have yet to talk about. From dancing to little furry creatures to...
We will get to the furry creatures and all that.
Yes.
oh, well, then she's telling you better stop
I
talking
guess
about
so.
your furry creatures.
I'd
But-
like to know
About your first impression.
what. Yeah, but like, let's be like upon this viewing. What was your first impression?
First impression for this viewing was that it was a fun little story.
I just feel like we're gonna be negative about this, and I want our listeners to know.
Well, no,
we
not-
appreciate this moment for what it is.
Not necessarily negative. It just wasn't the most thrilling movie, but it is fun and it has a lot of funny little moments in there. But
That's
not a lot to-
unfortunate if you have to make that noise.
Yeah, not a lot to chew
Yum
on.
yum 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 yum.
Nom, 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 nom.
My
Emily, first impression.
Lackluster.
Lackluster.
It's a good word.
A lackluster blockbuster.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
There
with
are
you.
parts that are invigorating, funny,
Yes.
beautiful, and then there are parts that are a little.
Luis.
There's some points that are scary,
Yeah.
terrifying, sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Michelle?
My first impression upon this viewing is, like it's
Lackluster.
good, lackluster. Yes. I appreciate this movie for what it is and like the historical value of it. And I'm trying to think of it in perspective of 1937. Then it's great. It's amazing.
For sure.
Right. But not that I dislike any of these early Disney movies per se. They're just not my style of animation or movie.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah.
is it good? Yes. I will say that my favorite part is the dwarves, and without them, I probably wouldn't really like the movie at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought you said doors for a second. Dwarves.
Dwarves.
That too. Doors are.
The doors are
doors
nice.
are really important.
Dwarves. Luis, first impression.
He's staring blankly.
Well, you know what? I really didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so interesting though, because I feel like a different generation could review this movie and they would absolutely love it.
For sure.
You
Well,
know,
sure.
and like, not that we don't like it, it's just
Luis is like, no, I
an
don't
older
like it.
movie.
I mean, good. It meant a lot for the people that watched it during that time. It was an escape from a very hard time in history, and you know,
People were going to the
people
movies to try to.
were never. That was one of the first movies. No, not the first. Definitely not. But like,
It was the full
first
feature. It was the
Full
full
length,
full
yeah.
length animated feature.
yeah.
Ever.
So like,
In
they
history.
Not
really
just
don't-
Disney. It's just in
They
general.
really don't have anything to compare it to it, so I could understand why they liked it. But I
Right.
didn't like it.
Yeah. We've done
Appreciate
70
it,
of,
but
70
I didn't
of
like it.
these, and this doesn't top any of them, I don't think.
It's just so hard because
Definitely better than Crunk Snooker.
movies
Oh, that's true.
evolve over time.
Yes.
Technology evolves over time. Some
Storytelling
stories
evolves.
and storytelling, yes, does not hold up over time. It doesn't. The ditzy princess falling in love with a prince thing immediately in the movie doesn't work anymore. Really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of this from a perspective of that was the norm and that was like
In storytelling.
cool. Yeah, like in storytelling, you know. Then it's pretty great. I mean, I'm assuming we watched a remastered version.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like you could tell the colors were painted over and tried to be more vibrant. There was some times, I don't know if it was just our movie or if it was the remastering, where like the images were blurry. And I was like, it got blurry for a second and then it cleared up.
I feel like
But-
that's like the original part. They probably
Yeah,
couldn't get
that
out.
must have been a
Couldn't get
product
out of it,
the
yeah.
original.
Just some scenes
Formatting.
were more well animated than others. So like the dancing scene with the dwarves was great, wonderful. The washing scene, you said, like that
Mhm,
was
I
good.
really
And
liked the
even
washing
like
scene. The cleaning scene was good
the
too.
diamonds and things like that. Like some things of it were really, really good. And then other things like the magic mirror, he didn't look that great. You know, it just kind of depends. But for 1937, it all looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like it was a technical achievement.
I would say so. Here are my two main points of the whole movie, and I can probably sum up everything that I do back to these points. I think that they did a pretty good job with the animation. I think that, like you're saying, for the time period, it was good. But my problem with this movie is that the story is too simple.
Yeah.
I don't even care, really, that she fell in love with him so fast because Daddy, I
Yeah.
love him. I mean, come on.
Daddy, I love you.
Like, it was...
Whatever.
It was so fast,
And honestly,
yes.
that's not even that big of a part
That
of the
doesn't really
story.
bother me
Its
because...
character development wasn't really there.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it was... So you find out in the storybook beginning, which I actually kind of miss the storybook
I
beginning.
love that.
It's
That is
cute.
so
It's
nostalgic.
like the Star Wars crawl.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get your storybook beginning, which says, you know, evil queen is the stepmother of Snow
Stepmom.
White, which
She's
I kind of forgot.
Very jealous.
Super jealous, wants to be the fairest in the land, and she pretty much is, except for she knows the stepdaughter is going to surpass her.
Right.
So she dresses her up and turns her pretty much into a scullery maid,
Puts her in rags.
puts her in raggies, and then as long as the mirror every day, peeps,
Every day.
Every day.
says that she is still the fairest of them all, then
Then Snow White lives
Snow White's-
another day.
yeah, pretty much she
you get to survive.
you get to tell the tale for one more
Ooh,
day.
as soon as you become prettier than me, I swear to God.
So one day the magic mirror's like, yeah, someone's cuter than you, and the evil queen loses her business.
It's like, nah.
She loses her mind.
She loses her mind
She's-
She's,
What?
she's crazy, but I like her.
and is like, I'm gonna kill Snow White,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I'm gonna have
and,
her killed. She
um,
orders a hit.
Yes, and then she wants her huntsman to kill her, and then because of that,
Bring her heart.
bring me your heart to make sure you.
All
did
I
the
can
deed.
think of is
Yeah.
Regina from freaking Once Upon a Time now.
Truth.
So
But then after that, the story. So that's all pretty like intense, like
It
good
is.
story. But then literally the rest of the story is she goes into the
With
woods.
dwarves.
La la la, we're having fun. in
Yeah,
the woods
and then she
cleaning
has
houses.
fun. Like for the rest of the
yeah,
movie.
it's like
Yeah.
the beginning and end of the movie are a different tone than
Until,
the
like,
middle
the
of
last
the
5
movie.
minutes.
I think
yeah.
that's why I'm a little like, because it's like super intense, and the intense parts are like actually really good.
Yeah.
But then the fun parts don't seem to fit with the intense parts.
I like the fun parts.
But the
Like-
fun parts are fun too. You're right.
Yeah.
Like the story itself is Queen gets jealous, orders Snow White to be killed. Snow White escapes. Dwarves help her out. Queen comes up with a new plan to kill Snow White. Succeeds. Then the prince comes, kisses her, and she's back to life. But to fill that out, they're like, all right, well, let's...
Because that story, like, as a fishbone, like a, what do you call that, skeleton?
Fishbone.
Fishbone.
As a fishbone, it's good. That's a cool
Sure.
story. I like it. But like you're saying, like, how can we fill those spots?
Yeah, instead of padding it out with, like, action or intrigue or anything like that, it's just like, well, let's just have the dwarves have a lot of fun
Yeah.
Yep.
with Snow White. And,
But it's funny because if you think about this, I find this movie to be very similar to like Sleeping Beauty
Mhm.
because it's kind of similar there too, where
Yeah.
it's like the major points are there, but then they added like you said, a lot of good action.
Pink, blue.
Yes, they added in like some action that you could hold on to.
Yeah.
A fight scene or this or that.
Mhm.
This was just kind of like,
Oh, that's it?
Till the end, it was
There it goes.
like a little bit of an action sequence.
Yeah, and those fun sequences with the dwarves in the middle are really fun. I enjoy them. All the dwarves are funny.
Well, that's like the best part of the movie to me is all the dwarf interactions.
yeah.
Yeah, and the creatures, the woodland creatures.
But I mean, yeah, the more I think about it, I feel like sometimes it's so easy for us to go through the storyline of these movies, but the story is just a jealous stepmom. Princess is pretty. Dwarves help her out. She eats an apple and she dies. But
What
doesn't
time?
Really
how,
die.
how long into the episode are we right now?
We're 11 minutes in.
I'm surprised it took
See?
us 11 minutes to say apper.
Amber, which she doesn't even say in the movie, so it kind of made me mad.
Yeah, she does.
She does it on the ride, right, where she comes out of nowhere and she's like Amber, but she doesn't do it in the movie. Like I was waiting for it because I was like, I'm gonna perk up when she says it, but no, she's like, look at
There
this.
was no
This
perking.
is a
Poison
complete invention
apple.
of Michelle's mind.
She says a lot of creepy things though, but
You know, it's funny because you say that the dwarf parts are your favorite, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, the evil queen parts are my favorite
She's
because
crazy.
she's so
Pretty
crazy.
great.
And she is so angry and
the
vengeful.
cackle of a something.
Of a hag or something.
Old hag. Like, all of the ingredients to turn herself into the old witch or the old hag or the beggar
Yeah,
peddler.
she's crazy.
She asks a mirror every single day if she's the prettiest woman in all of the land. And then to get revenge on the actual prettiest woman, she becomes the ugliest thing
Ever.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for real. And it's hilarious.
She doesn't make it back out of that ugliness.
And you're right, Emily. There is a plot hole in this because she reads in her like potion book, right? And she was like, I need to make sure this isn't reversible. And it says something about love's first kiss.
Yeah.
So not true love's kiss, which we thought was interesting. It says love's first kiss.
Yes.
And then she's like, it's okay because they'll think she's dead and they'll bury her. And in my head, I'm like, you don't know that though. And then the way that she entices her with the apple is like, do you love somebody? And she's like, oh, yes, there is someone. And I'm like, that should have been a given right there that your plan's going to fail.
Well,
Yeah.
she
You
didn't get
know, like, I guess she didn't think about that.
she
but
didn't get the chance to do the burying part because all the
she wasn't going to get to
dwarves-
bury them. She thought the doors would just be so sad
Well,
that they would bury her.
No, she like walked outside after she did some poisoning, and then the dwarves were there, and so she had to run away.
Yeah, but she wasn't going to bury Snow White. She said the doors will think she's dead, so
No,
they'll bury
She
her.
wasn't gonna go
Well, I
outside.
think she
and-
thought she was going to
dig a
leave and they
ditch.
were going to come. She thought they were going to come home to her being already dead. And so they would have just buried
But
her.
instead, they saw her running away.
Yeah, so they're like, "Oh, you be poisoning her."
Let's give chase.
No, I think they know she was dead. Like they know she's dead, and it's you went to the bathroom, but it said there was like a little blurb that you read across the screen, and it said the dwarves thought she was so beautiful, even in death, that they couldn't have it in their hearts to bury her. So they built a coffin of golden glass and sat at eternal vigil at her side.
That's an issue.
Gross.
So they knew she was dead, but they
Hey.
just thought she was still so beautiful that they made a coffin of glass and gold and watched her in it for apparently eternal
Eternity.
vigil.
I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Glass and gold is not smell proof. Okay, that's a nasty coffin. That's just above
But she's
the
not
ground.
dead. But they think she's dead, so that's kind of
Getting
weird. You know,
stinky.
like at least in Sleeping Beauty, it's like they know she's asleep. It's like a sleeping curse. You know,
Yeah.
this one, like, no, they really think she's dead, even though it is a sleeping death. They call it like a sleeping death, not a sleeping curse, which is kind of creepier. And she's saying like your blood congeals and stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, this is intense. I don't like this.
Congealing blood.
So maybe that's why
Well,
she
and she
didn't rot.
says,
Her
like,
blood was congealed.
Like 10 times she's like, they'll bury her alive.
Yeah.
God, girl. Like, get it
I know.
together.
Well, honestly, a lot of these movies are scary for children. Like
Oh,
the
I
rides
know.
at Disneyland are scary for children. Then the movies are scary. You know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
who I was talking to one time when I was in Disneyland, but I was like, these Fantasyland rides are actually scarier than the other rides. Like, they're less thrilling, but they're a little
They're
bit more
terrifying.
scary. Like,
Monstros trying to eat me.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
Snow White's scary.
And I
adventures.
always tell Andre that it's scarier because you're in like your little car, but you're like by yourself. Like you don't see anyone else around you, so it feels like you're alone too when all of those trees are
Well, and
going
they
by.
come
I'm like,
Taking you
up
through the
at
trees.
you. Like,
trees
they
with
don't-
hands.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
love it so
The trees
much.
with hands in this movie were freaking me out. No likey. It was like grabbing at a dress and stuff. Nah,
That's gross.
get out of here,
Pervert
branches.
trees.
Yeah, you little nasty trees.
And Snow White's just like, so sorry.
Yeah.
There was my fear.
I'm so ashamed.
I'm so
So ashamed.
So let's talk about Snow White for a second, because we haven't quite given her any thought.
Yeah.
I like her dress.
She's
Yeah, she'd be cute.
she likes to sing.
Oh my. Michelle's was better, Andre.
For the one I love.
So she likes to sing. She honestly doesn't seem to mind being a scullery maid. She's just out there
She likes
wiping
cleaning.
stuff down.
Yeah,
and-
she's really good at cleaning.
yeah. So she's good.
She
at
accepts that too. She tells the door, she's like, please don't kick me out. I'll cook and clean and
Yeah.
sew and
She knows what
launder."
she's good at.
it. Yeah.
She's also very good at business, because look at her. She like walks into their house.
You
Oh,
better
man.
wash
Does-
up.
She shows her skills beforehand so that
Right.
she has like leverage.
Here's my audition. Okay,
I
cleaned your
win.
house.
I'm taking over your house.
Know how
Now
many
go
cobwebs
wash.
were in this house? I cleaned them all.
And she didn't even actually clean. She just
She's
enlisted
kind
all
of
those
rude
little
though. She's like always telling
animals.
doors what to do. She's like, you go wash or no supper. I'm like,
Told him
dang.
they're not gonna eat in his own house. What? Lou?
Nah, she's a calculated, manipulative woman.
Whoa.
Okay.
Like
go.
right off the top,
Pray tell.
like showing all the traits, everything she can do, and then she's having them like eating out of her hand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they did a rap battle for her. You know? They washed for her,
They did wash.
Hilarious.
and they
Even
washed the
grumpy.
one dude who
Grumpy.
would never be washed.
Never be
Apparently.
washed.
I'll never be washed.
Never be
Bro.
washed.
Never.
So,
Calculated.
So Snow White,
Manipulative.
She learned
Woman.
from her stepmother.
Yeah, she did. She
Oh.
got some traits.
Yeah.
I think the thing about, like, she doesn't stand out to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's there. She's doing things. She has an extremely high-pitched voice, which very much bugs me.
Well, and we were talking about so if you can't tell, you guys, we just watched this movie and we all watched
Yeah.
it together. So I think some of our commentary
it's
from-
fresh.
well, it's fresh, but I think we're losing some of what we said while we were watching the movie just because we were already saying it.
True.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because one of the comments I made was that this type of voice was very common in the
Yes.
30s, and I think
And in the early Disney movies with the
I think it was
princesses.
just a little bit more. I think it was supposed to be feminine and young
and dramatized.
but
too.
dramatized to like innocence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fun to sing.
Yes.
Snow White. Snow White was voiced by Adriana Caselotti.
Not
Louise
Grande.
said-
That's
Ariana
Ariana.
All of the voices in this movie are uncredited. Like they didn't care about the cast back then. It was all about like the animators and stuff. I
Alright.
guess. So the credits just
Interesting.
no cast.
Like I don't hate Snow White. I very much like her when I see her in the parks. Like I like
Yeah.
talking to her actress because they usually are kind of ditzy like that. Like that's just the character. But she just didn't stand out to me as much as like the Dwarfs did in this movie.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because it is so important in storytelling that your what are they in it? Protagonist? Thank you.
Protagonist? There we go.
It's late, y'all. That your protagonist is relatable.
And someone you,
You care
empathize
about-
with, yeah.
You have to like want them to succeed. And not that I want her to be killed off or anything,
Right.
because that's just evil.
But if it happened, I wouldn't care.
Well, yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, it's
like,
you are hoping that you're like, no,
If
not
Dopey
Snow.
died, I would lose it.
Oh,
You know, like,
God,
come
nah,
on,
man.
the
Gets a lot
dwarves
of
are
character
so
in the
cute.
show. But yeah, I think Snow White is. I mean, she's she's motherly and she's nice, I guess, a little bit, and she
Nice,
She
a little
sings
bit.
a little bit. You know, she does kind of barge into these people's houses and takes over
Yeah.
with no remorse at all.
It sounds like a mother-in-law.
Mm.
I'm just saying, mother-in-laws do that. I didn't
I'm
say
gonna
anything
do the
about your
laundry.
mother-in-law.
I'm going to do the laundry. Well, let's get to the dwarfs then. There are 7 dwarfs.
Okay,
They're-
well, hold on. Before
Oh.
we can go into them, but I want each of you to think about what your favorite one is, and then we'll battle out which one's the best.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
We have 7 dwarfs.
Don't
they
pick Bashful,
They
that was mine.
are happy,
Mhm.
sleepy,
Mhm.
sneezy, dopey,
Yep.
doc,
Mhm.
grumpy,
Yep.
and bashful.
Very nice.
Yeah.
See, if I ever went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and they asked me that question, I would know it.
And then
So
you'd
I'm
be a
gonna pick
millionaire.
Bashful.
Bashful's your favorite? Why?
Oh, you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. He's hecka cute.
He is hecka cute.
He's got some eyelashes for days.
Right.
He does. Batting him.
He's batting
He's
them.
batting them.
He has a teal hat, which is cool.
Mhm.
He has a fun. I think it's the funniest part. They're in the singing, dancing
It is
scene.
so funny.
What is that song called?
That's a good question.
This is awful. And this is another comment I made while we were
The
watching
one where they're dancing?
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
You know what's so sad?
I don't know.
We all of us know pretty much every word to every Disney song, but I was watching this and was like,
Except
I
this
know the
one.
tune, but I don't know the words.
Oh, I was singing. I was getting my
Andre
singing.
Okay,
likes-
Andre was singing, but
Yeah.
I was not.
I wasn't either.
Anywho, the singing song when Grumpy's playing the cool piano, or organ
I think it's With a Smile and a Song.
with a smile and a
I
song.
think.
No, that's correct. So with a smile and a song, Bashful is getting ready to sing, and Grumpy's doing his thing on the organ, and he's like dun 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 dun, and like Bashful should start singing, and he doesn't because he's bashful.
He hides
and
in
he's
his
like,
beard.
and he's like wrapping himself in
Stuff's
his
getting
beard,
red.
and he's oh my god, he's so cute. Like
It's very cute.
so precious, and he did it like 3 times until Grumpy was like, "I'm gonna
Get
murder
it
you."
together.
So funny. That's why he's
Little-
my favorite.
It is funny.
Mom.
Luis, do you have a favorite dwarf? I mean, you have a dwarf you don't like, but do you have a favorite?
There's always a dwarf Louis doesn't like.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
That's not a dwarf.
Sneaky is
He's
not.
technically a dwarf. And
It's sneezy.
Which one?
Sneaky.
I mean,
Sneezy.
Sneaky.
Moving on.
Did you guys watch Once Upon a Time? Do you
Yeah.
remember
Yes.
that there was? I don't know if his name was Sneaky
I'm
though.
pretty sure it was sneaky.
I don't think it was
'cause
sneaky.
He was
But-
supposed to be sneaky, but then the joke
Yeah.
is he got killed.
Yeah, there was an 8th
Oh.
dwarf, and he was like
he was
he was like a
called
spy
Sneaky. Yeah.
or something.
But
And
sneaky.
was it Sneaky?
Maybe he's in this and we just didn't see him because he was too
Exactly.
Too sneaky?
Yeah. And he minded his own business too. So he stayed out of frame. So that's why I like him.
So
Oh
is there
my
an
gosh.
actual one that was in the frame that you have a favorite of?
Mm.
Do you think that like anything caught your?
Luis doesn't
Tickled
like
fancy.
funny
No, y'all
things.
asked me which was my favorite when I told you. So.
It's
don't try to
sneaky.
Don't try to lure
Luis
me
likes
into
the
your own
turtle.
answer.
My favorite is Grumpy because he reminds me of Louise.
Your favorite is Grumpy though?
Yeah, I do like Grumpy a lot. 'Cause
Grumpy's hecka funny.
He's very funny. He's a contrarian.
I'm not that bad. Okay, first off,
He had to walk
you
his-
accept love.
He had to walk
do
his butt
accept
back
that.
over
Luis,
here.
when was the last time you washed?
2 weeks ago.
The last harvest moon. When was that?
Last harvest moon.
When was
It
that?
is
Over a year ago.
May, June.
They were like, "Ain't New Year," when she tells them to wash up.
But yeah, I like
They
Grumpy.
only wash once a year, dude.
It ain't New Year's.
So I agree with you, Andre. Like, I really like Dopey. He's super cute, but he's not my favorite. My favorite upon this viewing is Grumpy.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Because
Grumpy's the
he's
man.
so stubborn. And I get why people like him. Andre has a mug, like a coffee mug. It's like,
I think it says, I hate
morning
mornings.
makes me sick. Or
Yeah.
something, and it has Grumpy on it. It's cute.
Yeah.
I love that. I would say in general, before this viewing, it definitely would have been Grumpy because he's funny. And how fun is it to call people grumpy and get them grumpy attire,
Yes.
right?
Grumpy
But
stuff.
this viewing, it was definitely bashful. Like, that was just too cute.
Growing up, my mom really, really, really liked Dopey. She had a Dopey stuffed animal. I don't know why she liked Dopey, but he is cute.
Sleepy is a close second for me. I like Sleepy.
I like Sneezy, actually. When they tie him up with his freaking hair.
With his beard.
nose. Poor guy.
These
I
dwarves.
love that, like, when he actually sneezes, because he only actually sneezes, like, what, twice?
a couple
Yeah.
of times, but they're powerful.
But they are like hurricanes.
yes, they're like blowing all the dwarves throughout the house.
I
and
love
stuff
it.
like that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And we were trying to decide if Doc has like a stutter or dyslexia or
It's a
something.
little bit of both.
He's got some stuff going on.
Poor bud.
He's
an
funny.
issue.
He's funny. Happy is barely in it. Like,
feel
he says, like,
was
one
more
line.
Than, I felt like I
Yeah.
remembered him more than he was.
He's just
in
like,
it.
haha, I'm happy.
Like, okay.
That's about it.
Bye, Happy.
Thanks, Happy.
Thanks,
for
Happy.
that
Like, I think
information.
they pay attention to him like the least amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you say that,
Yeah, because I mean, Doc is there, and he's
Well, and,
kind
like,
of
what can you
happy.
do?
he's like
That's
their
really-
ringleader.
That's really
Yeah.
funny about Happy. Like,
About
he's just
being
happy. You know?
How dare he?
I mean,
just be
everybody
happy.
else
Dare
could have
you
been
just be
sad,
happy?
and he could have been happy.
There's no sad one. This isn't
I mean,
sadness.
there's Grumpy. He's
He's not sad. He's
He's grumpy.
He's grumpy. Semantics. Who else is there? Is there anybody we're leaving out?
No.
Yeah, I guess not.
What is
Okay.
it?
Sneezy.
We said
Oh yeah,
that.
we said sneezy.
I was just waiting to see if you would say that. Yep.
Achoo. Sneezy.
Sneezy.
So they're cute.
Bless you.
And then there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of animals in this
Yeah,
movie.
like a lot.
Which
Creatures.
basically sets the precedence for how animal animation goes in Disney for quite some time.
I want to
Like,
go cool
animals
minute.
look so similar, like
Yeah.
Bambi, Fox and the Hound, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Like all these early movies, the animals look the same.
Yeah, I'm trying to look
Yeah.
at my list, and it probably
Very round, very exaggerated.
like, even in the Sword and the Stone, which is in the '60s, there's still
The
some of
animals
that,
look like that.
animal animation. Yeah,
super big tails on animals that have tails.
But it's
Right.
almost like I
They're
know,
sweeping,
like
Yeah.
sweeping with the
like I
tails.
know those are Disney animals. Like if you showed me multiple animals from different animated movies, I'd probably be able to be like, that's a Disney animal.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Because that's just like the style of Disney animal. But for sure, the most underlooked character in this movie was the poor turtle.
Oh, dude, the
Turtle was hilarious.
Struggling. This
He's always
whole
way
movie.
behind.
And he's like the only reptile out of all these woodland creatures. They're all just furry and fast, and he is not. He is the opposite.
He's
He
so
is
cute. And they're like
slick
they're like
and
washing
slow.
the clothes on his belly, and he's like giggling
laughing,
because
he's
it
like,
tickles. Yeah. I like the
Do
turtle.
you think it would actually make him laugh though? It's a shell, is it not?
No, but that's the underside of the shell. It's a little softer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It
His
is.
abs.
It's softer. I had a
yeah,
turtle.
it's his abs.
I had a turtle growing up. A turtle.
A turtle.
Tortor.
His name was Mortimer.
Mortimer.
And then you married a Morty. That's cute.
Oh, that's crazy.
I replaced the turtle.
He was a box. He was a box turtle. They lived to be super, super old. We had him for quite some time, and then my sister took him to SoCal, and then she donated him to a school, like for a classroom, because.
Where's Mortimer now?
I was smiling until you said she took him to SoCal, and I thought you were going to say and he died.
No, she just donated him
Did not
because she
survive
got a
the
dog, and dogs and turtles don't get along. And plus, they
Dogs
hibernate
and
like
turtles.
literally turtles hibernate like
Don't
over
get
half the
along.
year.
I
Okay,
need you to reassess what you just said. Like,
What?
why? What do you mean they don't get along?
because they could break him.
What? They got
He
the
wasn't
shell.
a big
The
turtle.
turtle is not going to break the dog,
No,
Michelle.
the dog's gonna break the turtle.
Became
Break.
roommates with the
You can't break
dog.
Mortimer.
Started
He was
trying
like
to
a
bite
little
him on
dinosaur. We
shell.
would feed him lettuce like out of his hands. He would just like his little pink tongue.
a
He was
dinosaur.
cute. We used to pet him on top of his head.
Because we fed him lettuce. You know how dinosaurs eat lettuce.
Like that. Why are you laughing? laughing that Emily, apparently I'm not allowed to have a pet turtle.
Oh, you're allowed to have a turtle.
You know what? Just for that, I'm going to have my sister find a picture of Mortimer. He's not Mortimer Mouse. He's Mortimer Turtle.
Mortimer the turtle.
Emily's
Emily's
dying.
gone.
$10 said Nikki killed your turtle and told you that she donated
Oh,
it
yeah,
to a
we
class.
don't-
What?
Donated
Don't
Mortimer.
say that. OMG. I'm going to text her right now.
Right now.
I got money on that one right there.
Mortimer's at the turtle
All
farm.
right, guys. You guys
With all
are
the
hearing
other
it first.
turtles.
I'm going to text my sister and
No.
see.
Running
Before you
around the
text her,
fields.
Let's go through logic here. Okay.
Oh my
Who's gonna
gosh.
go out of their way to find a classroom for a turtle to go live out the rest of its days like it's been put to pasture?
Right.
No, that turtle's dead.
Yeah, she.
Poor Mortimer.
Hopefully, she at least buried it. Give it a proper burial. and a
Glass of
Unlike-
ceremony.
gold coffin. You know.
Unlike
Put 'em above the
Snow,
ground.
who did not have a proper burial,
No, not at all.
above ground, eternal vigil. That's just rude.
But I guess that allowed for.
I just
smooches.
texted my sister. I said, so did Mortimer die or did you really donate him? The Walt Vault needs to know.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, the truth.
I'm kind of worried though because if she writes back that
he
the
died?
turtle's dead, Michelle's gonna start
Oh,
crying.
man.
Oh, I'm not.
Are you sure?
I wasn't really attached to him. It was her turtle.
But you were talking about
It's
how you
Mortimer.
tickled it on the
And you
head.
Yeah,
fed him
he's
lettuce.
You fed him lettuce.
Like a dinosaur.
Yeah, we used to take him out in the front yard too and let him run around
Like
in
a
the grass.
T-Rex.
Did he run around?
She texted back.
Did he run around in the grass?
She said, LMAO, I donated him.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe you, Nikki, you liar.
Oh, she said a bad word. Lives to be 60 plus years. I didn't want him
I mean, yeah, understandable.
because he was going to outlive her.
You know what?
You know what? No.
What do you mean outlive her? She's only gonna make it to 70 or 80.
Outlive her.
Nah, I'm not buying that. Tell her it's cool. Just say the truth.
You know what,
It's all right.
Louise?
We
When you
know.
get too old, I'm gonna donate you to
Oh,
a classroom
dude.
too.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those skeletons that hangs out in the corner.
Dude,
The
I'm
science
already in the classroom.
That's true. I donated you to.
I'm going to say,
El
what?
Capitan High School.
I'm going to say, what school did you donate him to? Name of the school?
Yeah. Name 5 schools you donated him to.
Stop.
Dude, just tell me the name of that school. I'll call that school and be like, hey, so did
I need to
so-and-so
know about
donate a turtle?
Mortimer. Anywho.
Mortimer.
She
I don't
said-
know how we got here, but
She said she donated him 4 years ago, she thinks, when she lived in Hermosa Beach.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go to all the schools.
We
in
got
this
so
story
off topic.
checks
This has
out.
nothing to do with this movie.
I mean,
There was a turtle in this movie.
In this movie.
She said she was
His name was
doing she was
Arthur.
doing field work for her occupational therapy program in a school, and she donated it to the classroom she was working in.
She's going all the way with this lie.
Yeah.
She's going all the way with this lie. Okay. All right.
Listeners,
Move
let us
along.
know.
Move
Do
along.
you think my sister donated the turtle Mortimer, or is he dead?
Is he
Or
in a
did
glass?
he eat an apple?
Amber?
Apple?
Or did
Yeah, I
he
mean,
eat
if a turtle ate an apple, I'm gonna be a little afraid.
Yeah.
a
turtles
shredded
can
lettuce
eat
with
apples.
salmonella and then
Turtles
died?
eat fruits and veggies. He also
Vanilla?
really liked carrots, and
Salmonella.
his favorite treat
Salmonella.
was a strawberry.
Oh,
Turtle with a strawberry.
okay.
Strawberry.
Salmonella.
Now Emily likes
God.
him because he ate a strawberry.
Anyway.
Continuing.
Made this. Oh, jeez. I just thought the cutest noise ever in the world is when Addie is eating watermelon.
When she's eating
Why did
watermelon,
you-
what does
what?
she sound like? That's what my turtle sounded like too.
That's why he brought it up because I think he thinks that's
All
what
right.
a turtle would sound like eating
Listeners.
a strawberry.
We're sorry. We're no longer allowed to drink beer while we watch Disney movies.
I mean,
I wasn't gonna throw it out there. I was just gonna let them.
Figure it out themselves.
and also, we are allowed to do that.
Oh
yeah. We can do what we want.
We do what we want.
All right, so let's talk about the music a little bit. Who is the music by in this film?
Well,
A person?
I don't know that it's a one person. Let's see. Oh, pardon me. I just yawned all up into the mic. The music was by Frank Churchill, Paul Smith, and Lee Harline.
All right, so some people.
3 different peeps. But yeah, I like the music in this movie.
I like the Dwarf song.
Which one?
We dig, 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 dig,
Hi-ho.
dig, 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 and we mine the whole day through.
Right.
We dig, 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 dig. That's what we like to do.
This is an R&B version of that song. Does it
Yeah.
go into work all day long?
Yeah.
All right, since we're talking about
does
the
or it
whole
doesn't?
digging,
Does it?
here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're digging to get rich. But when you look at that vault's all the way to the ceiling.
Chock full of
When
diamonds.
are they thinking about getting rich? Because they're just throwing that away for like.
I mean-
I think they're
monsoon
just
day.
hoarders.
They're
I think they
saving
like
up.
shiny things.
Yeah.
They're like Abu from Aladdin. They're like,
So why are they
shiny
lying
thing.
about getting rich? Why can't they just
No, they're
say
like
they have a-
Tamatoa. They shiny.
They're like the dwarves
Oh.
from The Hobbit who have all that treasure in there. It just happens to have like a dragon in it. The dwarves might have a dragon
Tamatoa.
in their vault. And we don't even know about
Or
it.
they probably are like hoarders, like you said, though.
Who's
because-
more obsessed with shiny things, the dwarfs or Tamatoa?
Well, we don't
definitely-
really know the doors are obsessed with shiny things. They're just
Yeah, they're
claiming they're
just-
doing it for money.
Yeah, they're going to work. That's just their job. They're not obsessed.
But why is it their job? Who's their boss?
The
I mean-
dragon, obviously.
It's a
The dragon.
business. It's a-
Dragon?
Maleficent.
Yeah.
This is not Sleeping Beauty.
I mean, they're self-employed. You know, they're
There you go.
They're going out there. They have a business where they
Working from home.
sell diamonds.
I have
to somebody.
Tamatoa on the brain now. Yesterday, Andre and I went to In-N-Out Burger, and you know how when you bite into a burger, sometimes the tomato falls out? So,
I'm done.
Go on.
so I said, oh no, the tomato. And we laughed.
We did laugh. Oh no, the tomato.
Sometimes the tomato
Uh,
falls out of the burger when you bite it.
Yeah, son.
Oh, you guys.
That
this
wasn't
is
the
bad.
point. The point was the Tamatoa joke.
Lord. Can you not?
Just cut it out of the podcast. It's fine.
What do you mean, just
You-
cut it out?
you
You know,
know-
you want to cut it out of the podcast, Miss
You
Editor?
know, every time you're the only one who says, let's
Yes.
cut that out of the podcast. And
Zero
you
idea.
realize he never cuts it out of the
How much
podcast.
work?
Yeah.
He must cut it out.
What do you mean he
No.
must cut it out? He must not.
He really doesn't.
I do not.
Nope.
You guys are all made to suffer through all of this.
Anywho, I said I was going to, well, since you're telling tomato stories and turtle stories, I might as well tell a story of my own
Yes.
that has to do with this movie.
Tell me a story. That's what they tell Snow
Oh,
White,
they
right?
do. They
Yeah.
do say
A
that.
story.
And I look the most like Snow White, so I might as well tell the story.
Let's
All right,
hear it.
let's go.
Wait a
Tell us
minute.
story.
You do
There-
not look like Snow
There's
White.
some grown. There are some grown men.
Luis kind of looks like Snow White.
Sick Snow White hair, Louise.
Hair as black as ebony.
Hair is black as ebony.
He's so offended right now.
Nah, I just can't get a word in with y'all.
What do you
Sorry.
want?
Hit it.
Nah.
Skin as white as snow.
Mr. Grumpy Gills.
Lips red as the rose.
He's laughing now.
Yeah.
Yes,
What?
you're,
Yeah.
you're talking not into the mic, sweetie.
They still can't hear you. Anyway, what was the story?
Anyway,
we were
Emily,
gonna
story
hear?
time.
So when we're watching this movie, Dopey puts 2 diamonds in his eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
like-
yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna tell you guys a story, and I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. Until
Which is
we're on-
kind of creepy because he has a bunch of eyes on his diamond eyes.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's like
Right?
spider eyes. Spider dopey.
Well,
Spider dopey.
Ooh, we have a
Spider
spider
Dopey does
Whatever
whatever
a
Spider Dopey does.
Are you done?
Continue.
Okay, so a couple months ago, Adeline is doing what Adeline does, right? Our baby. She's like running around, getting into stuff, opening stuff, closing stuff,
Baby
turning stuff
stuff.
on, pushing buttons. And Louise is like, what is she doing? And she walks into our room, right? And she has 2 different portable chargers
Okay.
and just like portable chargers, right? Like, you know, the ones that you plug your phone into to charge your phone.
Yeah.
And what makes these unique is the fact that they also act as flashlights.
Oh, okay.
Not that I've ever used them and don't even know how to turn the flashlight
Interesting.
on, okay?
Okay.
Like, I
Click
didn't
that
even
button
know
a
that was an
couple times.
option.
Mhm.
Long story short, she walks in and she has these 2 portable chargers in her hands and she pushes a button on each of them and the flashlight comes on both and the first thing I say is, oh, they're flashlights. And she starts to turn them in towards her eyes and so now
Oh my
she's
God.
like shining the lights in her eyes. She has them up in front of her face and she sticks them in her eyes.
She sticks the bright
The
part in her
light.
eye.
Yes. So She's like, all I can see is the portable charger in each eye.
And she's like moving her head around with them in her eyes and stuff.
Oh my
Which I'm pretty
goodness.
sure she
Terrifying.
had her eyelids closed because there's no way she would have lasted as long looking into
Who
those lights.
freaking
Yeah.
knows? We're like,
But it was still
"Stop
hilarious."
it," right? Because I'm like, she's gonna like
Blind
blind
herself.
herself, burn her eyeballs out.
Little baby
But
Ray
legitimately, that's what I thought of was Dopey with these diamonds in his eyes, like reflecting, refracting all that light.
Add
And
a
the
line.
funny thing about that
Add a
is
line.
that today,
Does
one of those
whatever
chargers
an
was
add a
on
line
the couch, and sure enough, she turns on the light and straight to her eyeball.
Nice. Bling bling.
That's
she really
hilarious.
cares about these lights in her eyes.
I can't help it.
she's seen the light.
It's so
And she got
beautiful.
blinded.
But did she see it though, or did she just?
I don't
have the
know.
light?
I'm assuming she closed her eyeball.
Let's
I mean,
hope.
Maybe she's just like
One
the
would
warmth
hope.
from the light on her eyes.
My
on her
goodness.
I
eyelids.
love it when my eyelids are warm.
Yum. Yum.
So
Why did I
anywho.
say
Well, that
yum?
was kind of weird
'Cause
that
they're always
Dopey
cold.
put diamonds in his eyes.
So there you go.
All right.
Now,
we know the story.
Now we know why he did
now
that.
our listeners know the story of Mortimer, tomatoes, and light flashlight.
tomatoes.
Because you realize, you know,
Flash
Tomatoes.
eyes.
diamonds.
Our girl's best friend.
are forever.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, but diamonds absorb quite a bit of light.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So
The light
Dopey
that
probably
was
blinded himself.
Yeah, they're shiny.
He's lucky.
It's a lot of light refracting.
Dopey gets a lot of lucky moments in this movie. I feel
Yeah,
like.
he pretty much dead like
He's
10
a hot
times.
mess.
Yeah.
They also make him do all the like their dirty work. Like, hey, here, Dopey, here's the candle. Go upstairs and see the monster.
Yeah, you go check out
So
the
nice.
monster. You
Close
you,
up the vault.
You don't get to have that pillow.
Close up the vault. Leave the key right by the vault.
You can have that little feather to sleep on.
Oh no,
Poor
the
Dopey.
feather.
Are you interlocking your fingers with your toes?
Get that image in your heads, listeners. It's
Andre,
fingers
you need to hold your wife's hand more often.
interlocked with toes. Yeah, she can't hold this hand. She's just got to hold them toes.
Luis, get back on the microphone so you can give us your rating of this movie.
Wait, we didn't even talk about the queen.
Oh,
Poisoning. She's got.
who?
She turns ugly. She gets the apple.
We did talk about that.
Talked
Amber?
about that
Oh,
right
yeah.
at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I guess we did.
Yeah,
She
and
falls off a
Emily's
cliff, no?
convinced that it's not a wart on her nose and that it's a
Oh.
zit. But I'm pretty sure it's a wart.
It's definitely supposed to be a wart because all witches have warts, right?
Right,
They have
yes.
like crazy crooked noses.
That's a stereotype.
Yes, it's a stereotype that Disney plays into very heavily.
Can't believe Disney would put that stereotype about witches in their movie.
Also,
Oh my
crows
gosh.
and vultures.
Especially an early Disney movie that isn't full of
Right,
stereotypes.
Yeah.
But the sad part is her nose is a mess. Like, she most definitely has a zit because it's green. And
Oh my
second,
gosh.
the
all
underside
color.
of her nose is so red. It's like she's been sneezing and snotting all day long. And she's like pretty much, rubbed it raw with
She's
paper
a hag.
towel.
Yeah, she got a long
So what?
nose.
Hags don't have Kleenex?
I guess not.
Nah, they
Sad.
gotta suffer.
Wet wipes?
Mm-mm.
They're not moms that we know of.
Only moms have wet wipes.
I don't have wet wipes.
Andre has
She
wet
wipes
wipes.
her nose with the rags.
Although
of her
Andre's very
enemies.
excited to one day have wet wipes and snacks at his disposal.
Yeah, dude. I mean, anytime that's happening to me, I'm pretty happy.
Except for when kids are involved.
Wet wipes.
Well, this
yeah.
snack is a red juicy apple. Well, we also decided that we like green apples better.
Yeah.
So if somebody
I
offered
wouldn't be
me a
enticed
red
by
apple,
this.
I'd probably be like, no.
Nah.
What I didn't remember is that she called it a wishing apple. I didn't remember that. I
didn't
thought she was
remember that
just
either.
like, here, I'm selling you an apple. Why don't you? This is the best looking one out of the bunch. So Snow White picked it and ate it. That's what I thought happened. I didn't remember
Agreed.
her like enticing her with it as a wishing apple
So she knew it was magical and she bit into it. Like,
from
and
a
she knows
stranger.
someone's trying to kill her.
Right.
And
Yeah.
someone
Like the
just
queen
told
could be
you-
after you. She's like, oh, okay, cool. I'll watch out for strangers. And then a stranger comes up. She's like, ooh, a stranger.
Yeah, she
And you
didn't.
want
And
to
they
feed
got
me
food.
something magical?
She didn't
And
learn
it's-
about
I can make a
strangers
wish.
as a child. I
No
mean, she's still a
stranger
child,
danger.
but you know,
What did she wish for? She just wished for the prince to.
sweep her away and live happily ever after.
She got her wish.
I guess she
It worked.
did.
It was a magical apple.
Amber.
There was some unknown side effects to her.
Well,
Amber?
all magic comes with a price.
That's
y'all.
right.
All magic comes with a price.
It's true.
Um,
Well, we talked money, did we not?
I said that the budget was like
What the
$1.4 million, but this movie was released several times in the U.S. So in its initial run, it made $66 million.
Dang.
And it was
Wow.
re-released several times after that, and now has a lifetime gross of $184 million. That's just in the U.S. I think worldwide it has like a $489 million gross. So
they kind of made their money back.
Well,
a
and
little
they
bit.
basically made enough money to fund their next couple of movies.
Yes.
You know what I
And
mean?
Disneyland too.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Which makes me, I just think it's so funny because I understand like that Walt Disney was just doing him at that time and things were very different. But in modern day business, like in general, you're not going to take your money from your movie and then use it to build a theme park.
Right, yeah.
So it's hilarious that he was able to do that and that it was that much money that he was like, all right, let's
All
do
right,
it.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sweet.
cool.
The
It's so
Cinderella,
cool.
or the Cinderella. The Snow White money is rolling in.
Let's do it.
Let's build a Snow White ride at the park. Did they do that?
Yes,
initially?
they did.
I know they did it.
Oh
but
yeah, those Fantasyland rides
Those are the first
are
rides.
like original
Okay.
rides. Yes.
Gotcha.
They're super scary, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that one.
Andre likes going on Mr. Toad when it's cold because it's toasty.
Yeah, it's a
in
little
there.
warm in hell.
God.
It's a little toasty down
It
there.
is warm in hell. Thank you, Andre. Moving on.
I
What-
like, you know.
What's your rating? Calculate.
Calculating.
I can go. I know mine.
Algorithms. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna give this movie a 7.
Mm.
It's a good movie. I appreciate it for what it is. I think I would give it a little bit higher if I enjoyed the music more. Like, the music's not my favorite style.
Agreed.
The songs aren't necessarily bad. It's just not my style that I like. But it's good. It's not bad. A 7.
Mhm.
And you know, I appreciate it and have a
Uh-oh.
love for it because it is the first Disney movie, which is crazy to think was in 1937. And in like
It's a
20
Netflix.
years from now, not even 20 years from now, this movie will be 100 years old.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you think about it in that way,
I think it's 18
then
years
this
for
movie
right
is
now.
amazing. You know what I mean? That's
So when
insane.
Addie is like graduating from high school, it's going to be 100 years old.
Yeah,
Yes.
isn't that crazy?
It's a little wild. That's a little wild. That's a long legacy that this movie has left.
Has upheld and has changed
Well, and that
the
there's-
future.
And that there's Snow White still like in the park. Not heavily, but like
Yeah.
represented for sure. That's
She
crazy.
was
More
just
represented
in,
than other
Ralph Breaks
princesses.
the Internet.
Oh, yes, she was.
Gosh, she was funny in that.
She was actually quite hilarious in that movie.
Yes. So, Andre, rating.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna rate it. I think I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I think this movie is fun. It's light. It's corny. It's old fashioned. There's not a lot of dialogue. Like, it's mostly like fun romps through the forest, and then fun romps through the house, and then fun romps
The
chasing a
storyline
witch
is slim.
and stuff like that. You know, the storyline is slim, but I like the music and I like the dwarves, and there's a lot of fun, cute animals. So 7.5 is what it gets.
Very good. Emily.
I'm going to give it a 7 as well. Kind of the same points as Michelle. But now that you just said that, Andre, I don't mind that there's not a lot of dialogue. I just would have, if I had enjoyed, like Michelle said, if I had enjoyed the music better, then I would have been like, these romps are really cool. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed them a little bit more. But they went between the songs with the words, with the dwarves that were fun, to the ones that were more ballady that
Yeah.
she sang that I wasn't fond of. So, I mean, it's 100% time period
Specific.
which makes it not hold up as well over time.
Right.
But
I like
it
Yodel
obvious-
Odel D. That one holds up.
Oh, Lord. But it at least
Yodel.
held up enough for it to still stand like the ultimate test of time.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't still be around.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
not a bad movie.
Yodel
You know?
Odel D. That's how that song goes. The dancing song. We couldn't
Yes.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yodel Odel D.
But it's funny too because Luis actually said this. He goes, "Oh, I like this song. It reminds me of Disneyland."
Yeah.
Because
The
when you're-
ride. Yeah.
Well, the ride, but also when you're walking
It's just
through
playing
Fantasyland,
around.
it's playing from King Arthur's Carousel. You hear it piped through the speakers. Those types of songs, especially the ones that the dwarfs sing, are still relevant,
They're
which is
they
cool.
are,
Yeah.
which I love. Luis, do you
What
have an
would you
opinion?
like
Whistle
to
while you
rate?
work.
Does he have an opinion?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
6.
Okay.
Reasoning?
His face, though.
Definitely the plot was way too fast. Went too fast for sure. I'm a little creeped out because of how fast they fell in love. Pretty sure she's 14 and he's got to be at least 25. There's something a little bit off with that,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But again, I'm a different person from a different time, so what do I know?
I know. I was kind of
Yeah.
creeped out when she's
It's a
singing
medieval
the Wishing Well
relationship.
song, and he's like, "Today," just at the end, and they're in love.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wait, what? What
That's
just
it.
happened?"
That's all it takes. You know,
Okay.
you see a girl down by the wishing well, you got to snatch her up. That might be the only girl you see for years.
That's right.
Well, it's the only guy she's ever seen.
Right.
So,
So it's meant to be because
Flabbergasted.
there's no other people in this kingdom but them two. What is he the prince of? Where is he from? Has he got another castle?
I don't know.
this is what I want to know. With the evil queen gone, she has her own castle. So, which castle they going to?
Right. Are they gonna take up the open castle that's got a couple skeletons in the basement, or are they going to his castle where his parents are alive? Maybe, I don't know.
I guess it depends on the in-laws.
Yeah, yeah.
Snow White too. We'll find out.
Snow White too. The eighth dwarf appears.
Absolutely not.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
Sneaky the door. And Snow White too. Ridiculous. All right, listeners, we need to know your opinion on this movie.
Yeah.
What do you think about Snow White? Do you appreciate it for what it is? Is it one of your favorite movies? We need to know.
Right, like do you
I liked
love
it better in my memory, I think.
Me too. I know. That's why I kept putting it off for a while. I was like, I can't. Like, this movie has so much historical value for what it is. I was like, I can't review it. Like, I don't want to, you know, and I don't want to watch it. But what are your guys' opinions? Let us know on the Instagram.
And how excited are you for bum 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 bum?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Andre got a Marvel hat for the occasion.
I did.
He looks very beautiful in his Marvel.
We
hat.
are starting
And
our
we need to post a picture of him right now.
Summer of Marvel.
Marvel.
Summer of
Marvel.
Heroes.
What is
Heroes.
it? What,
Marvel. Summer of Heroes.
why don't
There
you
you
guys
go.
name it for us? Since we can't decide.
Podcast.
We're going to be doing a bunch of Marvel movies for the upcoming months,
Just
the
feel
summer
that.
months.
Second year in a row.
In
It
summer.
gets a little warm. So, next time you hear us, we will be talking about the 2015
Andre's favorite superhero.
film Spider-Man Homecoming.
Emily, you've
Um,
seen this, right? Or no?
Of course I've seen
Yeah,
it.
she's seen it.
What do you mean?
I don't know if you've seen Spider-Man
Thought she
Homecoming.
went and saw
What do
Infinity
you
War and
mean?
Endgame without seeing Spider-Man.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Oh.
This is the only reason I even pretend like Spider-Man exists, because Peter Parker in every other version of the world to me is dead.
Whoa.
I said it.
We'll get there.
Sorry, Toby.
Tobey Maguire. Okay, when Andre and I first started dating, he was like, "You have to watch Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies,"
Yeah, dude.
and I hated
And do
it.
you like them,
1, 2,
Andre?
3.
No, I hate them.
do.
Guess what, Andre?
What?
That's how I feel about you now.
Ever.
Okay, we're
bro.
stopping this podcast because you.
We will talk more about this on our next episode.
Yes, so join us then for some Spider-Man
Franco, though.
goodness.
Fun fact:
All right.
basically, when this next episode comes out, Andre and I will be on our way to Europe, which is ironic because the next Spider-Man movie then comes out, and they're in Europe.
Yeah, we're going.
Boom.
We're going on the
Mic
same
drop.
trip as Petey and the boys.
Not the same trip, but same continent.
Going on the same.
Yeah, you're
trip.
you're definitely going on the same trip as Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Andre's a superhero now.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't
no,
say
Addie's
that.
a superhero. Remember, she ate the spider.
Oh, yeah, that's
We'll
right.
tell that story.
Yikes. Okay, yes, so join us next time. We are on social media at the Walt Vault Pod. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Get us there. Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought of Snow White. Give us your rating. I want to know if it's just a nostalgia-like or if you genuinely love the movie and everything about it. You can also send an email if you're afraid of social media to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. I like emails. I don't get them often. Please be nice to me and send me one, and I'll read it on the show. You can also get our after show Cracking the Vault on our Patreon, patreon.com/thewaltvault. Go there for extra stuffs and things at a low price. That's it for now. Make sure to click subscribe. on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. That helps us. That spreads the word. Thank you guys for listening. The vault is now closed.